What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about some of the biggest things that fans do not want in Hogwarts Legacy. Now, I don't say that as in I'm speaking for you guys, although, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I asked you guys directly, what are some things you don't want to see in this game? And you guys answered, and you guys did phenomenal. So I'm going to actually be reading out some of the things you guys said and going into my opinions of them. I want to do more of these things. I think this could be an incredibly cool kind of series. So if you want to let me know in the comments, I guess continue it. We can do, part 1, part 2. What are some things you don't want to see in the game? Or even, what are some things you do want to see in the game? Leave that comment in the comment section below, and I will do my best to read as many as I can. I'm only going to go through a couple of them here because they're really good, and I want to talk about them, in detail. But we can definitely do this, more and more and more. Okay, let's read out the first one. This comes from Thomas Coronado. I'm going to just preface it by saying I'm going to mess up, I'm sure, everybody's names, but we'll go from here. I don't want the Sorting Hat to randomly assign me a house. I want to see a detailed question and a thoughtful process when I get assigned to one of the 4 houses. The process should make us feel connected to our new house, and each one should offer a unique playthrough. Different houses can have different perks, bonuses, quests, etc. Completely agree. I've actually said this in the past, right? It's a tough thing because you can very well just go, you do the Sorting Hat, and ideally, there's a way to mend both of them or put both of them together, right? We've actually talked about that. If you have to fill out, say, like a quiz or something in the, maybe in the character creation. So in the character creation, I could imagine you'd make your character, right? You pick what you're going to do, and then after that, they give you a series of questions, almost like a Pottermore, whatever you want to call it, almost like that kind of quiz, and it decides your house pretty much right there, but it hides it from you, right? Then you have a cinematic, a cutscene where, you walk up, your character, puts on the Sorting Hat, or maybe there's like an opening cutscene, the magic explosion out of you, like a Credence thing or whatever, and then you go to Hogwarts, and the Sorting Hat, they put the hat on you, and it gives you your house, but your house isn't determined right there. It's determined because of the quiz you took beforehand. I think that's probably the best of both worlds, you know what I mean, where it feels like it's got weight to it, but you also get the cinematic, the iconic, where you get, the Sorting Hat gets to choose. If you do it any other way, I think you're shorting people one way or the other, right? If you put the Sorting Hat on, and then like the screen, like it blurs and it shows like a pop-up and says, which house do you want? And you pick Gryffindor, and then he says Gryffindor, and like that's it. It's like, I get that because maybe you do just want to jump right in. You say, you know what, I want to play as a Ravenclaw, and you know what, I don't even know what answers I would need to give to get me into a Ravenclaw. I do get that, but I just feel the immersion and just, I don't know, the sense that we're supposed to be living the life of this witch or wizard. I feel like that kind of weighs supreme, you know what I mean? Like that kind of wins. So I would argue, just like he said, I would argue for that. And again, I would kind of go a step above him and say, give us a quiz, give us a long quiz. Maybe, well, okay, not necessarily like it doesn't need to take like 15 minutes. Give us like a 10-15 question thing that's a pretty quick answer, and then then you get the cinematic, and your house is determined there, but really it's determined because of the answers you gave on the quiz. This next one comes from Ash Greninja. Hopefully, again, I'm saying that right. I hope our friends aren't predetermined by which house we're in. I want friends from different houses. This has, again, been a thing that I've seen quite often in the comments of all of my videos. In fact, we've talked about this, right? I made a video on friends, and I made a video on relationships, okay? And actually, I do think another comment is talking about relationships, so I'll save relationships specifically, but this one is on friends. Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. I will say I'm not, like, when the game comes out, again, we have to remember, like, not everything we ever wish and hope for is possible for them to do. But I do get the allure that, like, if you're in Gryffindor and say, and I've said this before, I feel like I'm the one who's pitched this idea, and that's why people have said it. Like, each house has like 2 or 3 default friends, okay? Like, they're characters. They're unique characters. They're very, they have a ton of dialogue. They're going to be your companions throughout the entire game. And really, they made like 8 of them, 8 to 10 of them, but each house gets, a couple each. And those are like your mains. You can't cross over into another house and have them as friends. I I guess I understand and I do want to be able to have that freedom to go anywhere. If I'm a Gryffindor, I'd love to somehow, make a friend. I guess somehow, it's possible, but it would be maybe difficult, right? Make a friend in Slytherin. Like, what's that like? I think that's an insanely cool dynamic that honestly we don't even get that much about, how that works in the books, in the movies. But it's a cool, like, nobody's saying you can't do it. I mean, they're your house. They're the ones you spend the most time with. But can you kind of break outside of that? I think you can. At the same time, what I just said. What I just said. You're in your house. You're going to be, maybe you have your own common room for that house, and there's, like, perks and abilities that are, again, like, kind of for those houses, actually what the first person said, right? You get, bonuses for being in that house, and that's what you're kind of supposed to stay with. So this is one that I understand. I get it. I could see frustration if they don't do this in the game, but I do feel like it probably leans toward, and I'm just guessing, maybe it's my cockiness coming through, whatever, but I do have a feeling you're going to be limited to the friends in your house. Just from a simple gameplay mechanic point of view, I feel like that's how it works. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe they made like 5 friends in all, and they scatter them around the houses, and those are your friends. Like, you don't have a choice. These are the ones you're going to run into, and one of them is from your house, 2 of them is from Gryffindor, 1 of them is from that could be the way they do it too. So it could be somewhere in between even what I'm saying. Okay, this one I found was really interesting. This may upset people, but I want to talk about what he says, and I want to talk about my opinion on it, because I do think it's important to go all the way through. GhostRat says, I don't want any crossover mixes with real-world politics. I'm especially crossing my fingers that they don't try to go with, we disagree with JK, look, we cater to the haters, and shoehorned obvious pandering. I'm fine with having stuff like trans and gays and different skin tones, but I do not want it to be pointed out for clout. I play games for escapism. I don't want to be reminded of the hellscape I'm surrounded by every day. So what I would say with this is, in kind of like my wide spectrum of what I've talked about before, is I generally agree, and some people could say, oh my God, well now you're this word or you're that word. I think the point he's trying to make, or definitely the point that I'll make very clearly here, is I'm actually pro-diversity. I don't care what you are, what you identify as, what your race is. It doesn't matter. As long as it's not, you need to like this character because they're that. And I always say the example, when's the last time you went to a movie and they said, well, you need to like this lead in this movie because they're a straight white male? When's the last time you were told that that's the reason why you need to like them? And yet we're constantly told when there's gender swapping, when there's race swapping in movies, the first thing that you're supposed to do is like it simply because it was race swapped or simply because it was gender swapped. That takes away from who they are. If you want to make a character a certain race or a certain gender or whatever, then make it unique and they will be incredible. Make an incredible, character. So that's how I view this. So generally I do agree. I would say, if this game is almost a point to say, look, I'm not saying anything about J.K. Rowling. You think whatever you want about her. It truly doesn't matter to me. I don't care what celebrities say in the first place. They've never made me upset in the way where I have to question myself because somebody else said something, and I don't want that for you guys either. So you can hate her, you can love her. I really, truly do not care. But the point is, if the game sets out on a crusade to say, no, you know what, we disagree, and we're going to show you why we disagree, and throw it in now you're coming at it, literally, what I just said, right? You're coming at it from an angle. And that's it. That's all you need, actually, to ruin it, because it should just be natural. And if you're coming at it with some sort of slant, you know what I mean? If you're coming at it by saying, okay, well, she said a lot of things about, let's just say, she said some things about this kind of community. Well, let's just make the entire game like that. And I'm not saying they're going to do that, but let's just, follow that through. Well, now you're just doing it just for a political point or just to win points on Twitter or whatever. You're not doing it because you feel so strongly about it. You're doing it to show that you disagree. Just make it natural. Everything. If you want to have, and people have said, maybe the relationships in this game, I have nothing against, male with male, female with female. Do it. Mass Effect did it. Lots of games have done it. Do it. But don't make it a point to say, oh, it's like 1,000 times better. Why? Oh, because they're gay. That's why it's better. Well, it's like, no, do you say that about a male-female relationship? It's better just because it's like that? No. So stay away from that stuff. You already have the internet trying to cancel you because of J.K. Rowling, just because people online, we've even seen it with like Troy Leavitt, right? Like these people there's some stupid, evil people online. They already hate your game. You don't want your fans hating the game as well. And I'll say the last one just to end it, because a couple different people had posted this, and they were saying like things that they do want. So I'll do the reverse. Fans do not want the game to exclude Quidditch. So in other words, fans want Quidditch. That's a comment that I saw numerous times when I asked you guys for it. Let us do Quidditch. Let us have our team. Well, some people went a little bit more in depth. I don't know exactly, and we've talked about it before, right? How Quidditch would work. I want it to be in depth. I mean, if you're gonna put Quidditch in this game, it needs to be full. It needs to be not like a very cheap kind of throw-in mini game. I mean, I know we were talking about back when we didn't, and I guess, you can assume Quidditch is in the game, or at least flying broomsticks. See, that's the tough part, because you see them with the broomstick, but like that could just be a means of travel. It doesn't. They are wearing like Quidditch, attire, so I get, you could argue it either way. I want Quidditch in the game, but, Quidditch is just such a detailed and incredible game that you could make literally like a multiplayer mode or a multiplayer spin-off game just on Quidditch. And I hope they do, or I hope somebody else gets the license and are able to do it. Like, I want that. So what that basically means is, if you're going to do it, you go all the way. Don't half it. You go all the way. I want there to be some detail. Now, again, like, how does that work? Can you just play random Quidditch matches? Is there kind of like a sub mode in the game where you can do that? Is it and you can have that, but can it also be attached to the story, right? Is there a quest or a side quest where you learn how to fly? You try out, you can play different positions, and that's the thing though. Are you just a seeker, or can you be like, I would say the biggest Quidditch games, the ones that have the most depth, you're not just one role. You can play different roles, and there's more stuff to it. So I've always hoped that. I do think there's more hope than ever about it, considering it's part of the trailer a little bit, but I'm not 100% sold that they're gonna do it perfectly, right? Because again, if you're gonna do it, you got to go all in my opinion, and I'm not sold on them doing that. So we'll just have to see, how that works. It could be something as simple like The Witcher. You're riding your horse, so it's your means of travel, which could be, flying broomsticks could be part of your means of travel, and like there's horse races, which are not you go around in a big circle. You watch your stamina. You try to cut off the other. Like, that's generally how Witcher 3 horse races work. You get, like, a satchel when you win. Like, for Quidditch, is it very, like, bare bones, right? So let me know what you guys think about all of this. If you like this idea, in the comments below. Like I said, I can definitely do more of this stuff. If you guys want to leave in the comments things you do want to see and things you don't want to see, would, love to read them out loud. Make sure you guys are liking the video, subscribing, bell icon, all that stuff, just to show me you guys like this stuff, and we'll do plenty more of these as the months go on. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, or subscribe to my second channel, or support us on Patreon or YouTube memberships, links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.